All right, all right, all right. I do believe we are live. I want to do one thing real quick before I get going. How's everybody doing? Good to see everybody. Got some A10 Warhogs in the house today. I actually saw some Warhogs at the New England Air Museum. What was it? A couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whenever that was that I went there. And the Warthog is actually my favorite. I'm not really a military plane guy. I'm actually not a military plane guy at all, but the Warthog. The Warthog is, ever since I was a little kid, I always liked the Warthog. And I'm just gonna pin the. Hey Hans, good to see you back. How are you? Bob, good to see you. Sheb, I saw you over there. Bedbug is in the house. What's going on, guys? So let me go. I want to put the flight plan. Oh, yeah, we'll just put the flight plan at least. Beard. Let's see. Yeah, A10s are cool. I don't know. It's wild seeing them up close, like how big they are. It's a big airplane. And like it's crazy. They have like the leading edges of the wings are tight. It's not even titanium. It's like something more than titanium. So if they get, obviously shot, then it just bounces off. Cool. So I'm in the 182. Don man, what's going on? I'm in the 182. The Dakota today. I was gonna fly the 182, but I decided not to. Gotta get myself set here. All right. Let's go toes on the brakes. I'm gonna get rid of this. We'll go rotating beacon on, mixture rich. I think you have to do this with this airplane, if I remember correctly. Mixture rich. Fuel pump is on. Master and battery switch is on. All right, we'll crack the throttle. Let's prime just for fun. Yeah, see that's not gonna do anything. You got to pull it out and let it fill up, and then anyway, all right, toes on the brakes and make sure there's nobody outside to kill or maim. And the next thing we're gonna do is turn the fuel on. There we go. We'll turn the fuel on. There we go. Fuel is one of those things that always really helps with an engine. We'll bring that back. We'll lean the mixture for taxi. We'll go fuel pump off. I still can't figure out how to bind a fuel pump in the sim. Go avionics master and battery switches off. And we'll go over here, get this all going. Recoil a gun is more than the thrust of one of its engines. Are you serious? Holy cow. I mean, it's a crazy airplane. It really is. It's wild. I have a friend of mine who
TOS system test okay.
A friend of mine who spent 20 years in the Marines, and he said there is no better sound than hearing one of those coming when life is not going well on the ground. But all right, let's go. We got the maps going. We got everything set. Let's set the altimeter the old-fashioned way. All right, mixture's lean. Let's release the parking brake. Toes on the brakes. All right, I gotta get my head position set here. We'll go this way. it's actually we'll go this way. It's me and Bob and a bunch of Warthogs. Is everybody actually flying Warthogs, or are they just showing up as Warthogs in the sim today for some strange reason? I'm gonna turn the headphone simulation off, only because I like hearing a little bit of engine sound in GA airplanes. Ah, there we go. There's Hans. So not everybody is in a Warthog today. I haven't flown this plane in a while, and from memory, this was like the most awesome GA airplane. I don't know why everybody's in a Warthog then. if Sheb's in a Beach G36. I wonder what's up with that. Who knows? We'll taxi down here a little bit, and I'm gonna give the windsock the benefit of the doubt. So this version of the airport, by the way, is a freeware version. I don't know if any of you guys picked this up before the stream, but this guy does freeware airports, and he does the most amazing job of freeware airports. It's unreal. All right, we're gonna go. Let's check our trim here. Trim is good. I've got my checklist right here. I'm starting to use checklists now, and it's gonna mess up with my head tracker. But let's see here. Before takeoff, flight controls are. This is not a real flight control check, but flight controls are free. Trim is set, flaps are set, mixture, props full forward, carpet is cold, door is closed and latched. All right, let's get matriculating here. There's gonna be a lot of short hops today. But this is one of the, we haven't done the Turks and Caicos in quite a while. All right, turn coordinator, airplane is turning in the correct direction, ball swinging to the outside. Heading indicator checks with the runway number. Takeoff power is coming in. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed's alive, and the windsock is correct apparently. All right. Yeah, the windsocks are correct. How cool is that? Off we go. We did this flight a couple of years ago, and this is a blast. I love doing Turks and Caicos. Alright, let's come back here. There we go. And let's get a look outside here. Alright. Nice, looking good, looking good. Han's doing especially low level today. But let us see. So Turks and Caicos it is. They'd all look like they fought beach bananas exactly. 1300. I'm gonna go 1500 feet for this initial leg here. 1450. Bring that back to 23. We'll bring the prop back to 24. All right. I didn't turn my fuel pump on, therefore I don't have to turn it off, which is kind of convenient. You gotta look at the bright side of things, right? Let's see here. I haven't flown this plane in quite a while. I've been flying. Been flying the Just Flight Warrior a lot lately, but I'd forgotten how good this plane was, and so I wanted something with a little bit more horsepower today, and this is a great airplane, so I figured let's do it. I was gonna fly the 182, but then just because it gives you a little bit better view, but I'm a Piper guy at heart, so I'm also a guy who didn't turn his landing lights on. I'm a guy who didn't turn anything on. So let me know if the engine sound is too loud. Hopefully it's not. And off we go to Pine Key Airport. And I don't know if Pine Key, well, it should be there even if you didn't pick up the Freeware. All the Freeware airports for today are Flight Sim 2020, but they are also, they should also all work, I would think. Sounds fine. Awesome. Thanks, Bob. All right, let's go. Wait, no. Oh, no. What am I looking for? Well, apparently I didn't set up one of these views. So, I got my first 737 flight in quite a while done yesterday. And apparently if you turn on wake turbulence in Flight Sim 24, it can go a little haywire, and it did. But that's alright. So, there's everybody. I mean, is this a cool looking airplane or not? I just like this airplane. And Turks are gorgeous. This is a beautiful place to be. Wouldn't mind being here today. You know? Bob's in. Bob, are you in the 172? That's what it said you were in, but now I don't trust anything. Let's see, we got 4.4 miles to go. So, let me take a look on. Take a look on Volanta and see where this airport actually is. Should be right about up over here. Yeah, I just wanted something with a little bit more get up and go. Tip Rat, what's going on? How you doing? Is it Monday? And Mr. Anderson himself, good to see you as well. And yeah, this is a good beautiful Sunday for flying. Now, the last time I flew this plane, for some reason my head position is really weird. Last time I flew this plane, I remember thinking that it was an absolutely phenomenal in the flare. I'm curious to see if I was correct, or if I just happened to have a good day that particular day. I'm gonna sneak in here. We got runway 11. Oh. Alright, let's do us a nice 360 here. Gonna warn you ahead of time, I am deliriously tired today. I might not be on the ball. Let's see which plane. This is the Coronado Dakota. This was a freeware. This is a freebie. This is one of the ones that this is the one that Asobo gave us for goofing up the opening, the launch of Flight Sim 24. Whoopsie, we don't want to do that. So this is the one they gave us for goofing up the launch of Flight Sim 24. Alright, we got one notch in. Fuel pump is on. We have to lose some air. Alright, fuel pump's on, mixture is rich, prop is in my hand. We have got to lose some altitude and some airspeed. So we'll do the ladder.
500.
We'll do the ladder first. Alright, now let's see if we can. This better be good in the flare, because I am coming in really hot. Oh, this is not how to land an airplane. This is not how to land an airplane, ladies and gentlemen. Oh I'm gonna. We're going around. Mixtures and props full forward. Full power. Alright. I'm used to flying like legit trainers right now. But a good thing to remember is that a go-around is never a bad thing. Go-around is never a bad decision. So what we're gonna do, we'll get up to power to 23, bring the prop back to 23. And we'll bring power back to 21. We got a notch of flaps in, so we're good. Now, let's get some airspeed let off here. Look at the conga line, this is great. We'll try 1700 here. I'm usually the first in, now I'm going to be the last in. This does not want to slow down. Doesn't seem anyway. Alright. Alright, fuel pumps on, mixture's rich. We are high again. Gotta get back into the white arc, get some flaps in here. Not gonna do that dropping 1,000 feet a minute. Come on. Come on. Alright, there's a notch of flaps. We're gonna slip this for a little bit.
500.
Slip this for a little bit. Alright, we'll crank this out here in a second. Alright. Go full flaps. Jeez. This isn't much better than the first try. It's not any better than the first try. Yikes. Alright. Alright. Oh, the D18. A man after my own heart. Alright. Okay, so that was a little bit iffy. That was more than a little bit iffy. We'll go one notch of flaps, mixture leaned here. Alright. That was more than a little bit iffy. Yeah, it was a little fast indeed. I think I remember now, the manifold pressure gauge doesn't seem to be scaled right, because like if you set it to 1500 RPM, it's still a ton of power. I mean, it just doesn't want to slow down. But then again, I wasn't slowing down until I was on top of the field anyway. So let's see what's up next. Let's hope our next MBNC here. Let's come to a stop. Let's hope our next airport is going to be a little bit more successful here. MBNC. That is what we're looking for. Alright. We are 9 miles out. We'll go 1,000 feet. It's going to be runway 08. Alright. So, set this to 08. So, we got one to get our eye in here. Now it's time to get serious. Alright. Fuel pump is on. Lights are good. Flaps are set. What's our trim at? Trim is fine. Got some interesting goings on with our aircraft right now. Keiju, let's see this. You know what's funny? I almost thought about flying that plane today. I'm just sort of scared to do so. Only because I have the Denark mod. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. I have the Denark mod, and the Denark mod like makes the engines very realistic, and I just don't know the engine management of the radials well enough to do it. All right, we got mixture and prop full forward. Flaps are set. We'll go toes on the brakes. Power coming in. All right, power is set. Engine instruments in the green. Got the toes off the brakes here. Airspeed's alive. All right, off we go. Off we go. Alright, we'll bring the power back to 25. Bring the props. Props are at 25. That's the other weird thing. The prop, or the props won't go past 25 inches, which is interesting. But alright, let's go notch the flaps up. Go 1,000 feet for this one. Bob got a head start on us. Alright, so we'll go 1,000 feet. I'm gonna start slowing down a little earlier this time. Makes a little more sense. Low and slow. Alright, there's 1,000. Come back to 23. 24. We're basically straight in for this next field already. Let's see here. Is that it over there? That's gonna be it right over there. I love these little channels they have in these bays. It's pretty wild. So that was a little iffy. A little iffy for a first landing there. Alright, 25, 24, we're good. Mitch in the D18. Oh, nice, that's great. That's great that you're back flying. That D18 is so unbelievably beautiful. I'm gonna come back to 17 and 21 and hold altitude and just really get this airplane slowed down here. Hopefully, anyway. Fuel pump is still on, so we don't have to worry about turning it on. See, now we're coming back to 15 on the manifold pressure, and it's still not coming back very much on the speed. Speed brakes? Just kidding. Alright, let's go notch the flaps. See, I would think with 15 inches of manifold pressure and level flight, this thing would be slowing down in a hurry. But it's not. You basically have to come to idle to get it into flap range. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, but that seems a little bit little bit extreme. All right. In any event, now we're looking a little bit better. Still fast. I mean, I'm off the bottom of the manifold pressure gauge. So I don't know how much more I can slow down here. I guess it just is what it is, right? Alright, fuel pumps on, mixture's rich, carpete's cold, flaps are set. Alright. Seems a little bit happier now. Once you get it slowed down.
500.
Once you get it slowed down, it seems relatively happy. Is that a displaced threshold? It doth appear so. It doth appear so. Nobody's gonna accuse me of being too fast now. Feels like I'm hovering. Alright. Alright. Mixture and prop full forward. Fuel pumps on. Flaps are set. Carb heat is cold. Seat belts are secure. Pre-landing checklist is complete. 75. I feel like I'm crawling. This is the correct approach speed, pretty much. Alright, power's all the way out. Yeah, I mean, this thing handles beautifully in the flare once you get it there. Once you get it there. Alright, that was a little bit better. Maybe we do need full flaps. We shall see. Alright, look at this. This is awesome. Alright, let's go. We'll go fuel pump off just so we don't burn that out. And let's go watch some landings. There's pre-spec VR. What's going on? Let's see here. VNAV. No, this airplane does not have. I mean, it's got VNAV. It's got the throttle. that's the VNAV. But no, this does not have like a VNAV mode, so to speak. At least I don't. I mean, this is a pretty primitive autopilot, and I don't use autopilots on small planes. Not in the sim anyway. Let's get nudged in here and let's watch some landings here. Commodore 64 box, I love it. Let's see. Yeah, that flare was much better. That was much better. We'll see how we do here. Centerline was wondering why you were so far away. I know. We're gonna get it dialed in here, fellas. We're gonna get it dialed in. We're gonna get it dialed in. Where are we going to next? We are going to. The good thing is these are all MBM, Mike Bravo, Mike Charlie. The cool thing is these are all tiny little airports, so it's gonna. I mean, they're demanding to begin with, you know, but you should be on your game. MB. Oh, this one might not even be in. This one is not in the database, I don't think. So we're gonna have to. Where is this one? This one is on probably about a. Let's see. Let's get airborne and we'll find it here. All right. Let's go. I don't know if anybody else has this in their database. I don't. It's gonna be a lot of short field takeoffs today, I think. Yeah, this is definitely a short fuel takeoff. Alright, let's go. One notch of flaps. Check our trim here. Trim is definitely too far back. Alright. Mixtures rich, fuel pump is on. Toes on the brakes, power coming in. Fuel pump is not on. Toes on the brakes. Alright, engine instruments in the green. Release. Airspeed's alive. 65. And off we go. About a 066 heading. Okay. That sounds about right. Alright, so actually I think it's going to be at the end of this bay. It's going to be over where Bunkfoss is right now. This one is, this must not be in the database. The flaps up here. Let's see. Let's see, where are we? So it's right about on this heading. It is called Middle Caicos Airport. Why would Middle Caicos Airport not be in the database? It's like right... It's like right over here. I think our crew has found it here. Yes, I still use the Bing Maps. Yeah, the map mod was awesome in 2020. I don't find it necessary in 2024. Let's see here. Fuel pump is still on, so let's come down here. Switch tanks, fuel pump off. Fuel pressure's okay. It's gonna be right on the other side of this little... Here, what do we got? Runway 12. Runway 12. I'm gonna start slowing down here a little bit because I'm not having much luck doing that. So runway 12. Is that it right there where Bob is? That would appear to be it, right off the nose there. Doo-doo. Yeah, that's it, right off the nose. That is a sweet view right there. Alright, do I still have an notch of flaps? And I'm a goofball. I told you guys I was tired. Alright, let's see what we got here. Well, at least maybe that's the trick to slowing down. Just fly around with one notch of flaps in. Let's see. Let's see here. Bring it back to 15. I got a notch of flaps in already. Let's go fuel pump on. Mixture is rich. So you gotta bring the power back to like nothing to get the thing to slow down. Come on, white arc, baby. Definitely a left to right crosswind. Alright, there's the wet arc. Next notch of flaps, that's our friend. So, start coming down. This is a good left crosswind too. Let's get over on center line here. So, never been to the Turks and Caicos. I've heard, my wife has been here. She said it was beautiful. This is going to be a good crosswind right here. We are still floating. Alright, what do we got? 85 knots. Sort of descending. Fuel pumps on, mixture's rich, carpeet's cold, flaps are set. Alright, you know what? Fine. I'll put in full flaps. Let's see if you like that more.
Terrain ahead. Terrain ahead.
Yeah. I hope terrain's ahead. So we're full flaps. Maybe that's what you need to do in this plane. Alright, power's basically at idle. Mixture and prop full forward. Don't like full flap landings, but that's alright. Maybe that's just what you got to do. Alright. Boy, this is a crosswind. Alright. Power's all the way out. Center line is wondering where I am. See, that's what I remember about this, but maybe you just have to land at full flaps. Because that's what I remember about this plane, is it just handles so nicely in a crosswind. And that one was respectable. That one was respectable. So we get over here, lead the mixture, and we'll just hang out here for a little bit and watch some landings. My favorite plane of the day. That is so cool. Oh, that is so beautiful. A bedbug coming in. Let's see. So next up is going to be Bob's got a head start on everybody. Are you? Oh, I'm seeing somebody on. I was seeing somebody on Volanta here. So MBSC, I believe, is next up, which is South Caicos Airport. MBSC. Okay, so now we're starting to get some distance here. So what do we got? 24 miles, heading 152. And there we go. A little bit of that. Alright, so just one notch of flaps. All we need. Mixture's lean. Let's reset the heading indicator. Let's reset the altimeter. It's not a heading indicator, it's an HSI. So it is slaved. I think that's an HSI. Cool, cool. Alright, so I grew up in the back seat of one of these. My dad had a Cherokee 235, which was the precursor to this airplane, the 236. And for some reason, there's not a whole lot of them around. Don't quite know why. But it was never really the most popular airplane. But anyway, it's amazing. This airplane can pick up its own weight. Whatever you can fit in this airplane, you can carry. Alright, let's go. Mixture and prop full forward. Fuel pump is on. Flaps are set. Carb heat's cold. Toes on the brakes. Takeoff power is coming in. Takeoff power is set. Engine instruments are in the green. Release the brakes. Crosswind correction here. Roll that out. Airspeed's alive. 55. 65. And off we go. Yeah, look at that. That is a decent crosswind. That makes me even more proud of my landing. So a couple of these airports, once we get out over... Once we get out over into the smaller islands, there's one or two of these airports that are really, really cool. Like, really cool. All little Freeware airports, which I think is pretty sweet. Let's get the nose down a little bit, get those flaps up. And off we go. $900, $1,000. Fuel pump off. Fuel pressure's good. Nose down just a little bit. Alright. It says to climb at 79, but I like climbing a little faster. Get a little air into your engine. You can also see a little better when you're climbing a little faster. See a little better over the engine. Or over the cowling, whatever you want, however you want to put it. Hey Kevin, I'm doing great, man. I hope you are doing. I hope the same can be said of you. I'm doing fantastic. Little bit, it's a little bit dopey today. but other than that, I just woke up really, really early, and once I wake up, I'm up. And I woke up at like 5 a.m. So I'm just dopey. Which is not the reason why my flying is terrible. That's just normal. We'll go 2,500. But yeah, life is good, you know. I mean, we're slowly starting to warm up here, which is nice. Yeah, you can see I'm still not catching up to the lateral deviation indicator. Alright. Well, I guess we'll go 3,000. One of those things. One of those things you can do is when you blow through the altitude you intended to climb to, just pretend like you were going to the next logical altitude. Alright. 28 for 3,000. 29. Power back, nose it over. Prop back. Alright, there we go. There we go. Alright, fuel pump is off. Flaps are up. Fuel is relatively balanced, I would say. Let's see. All good. Kevin, I appreciate it. I understand. Like, it's Sunday afternoons are good for some people. They're not good for other people. It's a crapshoot, you know. But I appreciate you stopping by. I genuinely do. Let's see here. So track is 152. So one of the cool things about the GTN 750, once I level off here, is you can give you your crosswind correction. So right now, direct is 152. My track right now is 150, which is relatively close. But look at what I'm having to hold a 140 heading to maintain that 152 ground track. So that's a pretty decent crosswind right here. Let's see, that's a little more like that. Let's see. Dial in your reference heading, and then just fly your reference heading. Alright. FS Clips, what's going on? How are you? I've been meaning to get back to you, by the way. There's a lot of things I've been meaning to do. But that's one of them. That is one of them. Let's see. Test encoding your app while I have your sounds in the background. That's awesome. Alright. What do we got here? This is South Caicos Airport. South Caicos Airport, and we have runway 11. Let's bring this over here. Alright. 12 miles out. Yeah, another legendary landing. Oh, my landings are legendarily poor on a consistent basis. At least I'm consistent. Man. But our real world flying season is starting here pretty soon. And I'm gonna have to post some real landings so you guys believe me that I'm not this bad. I swear I'm not this bad. Alright. So, last landing was pretty good, FS Clips. Go back and check that one out. Last one wasn't too bad. Actually pretty nice. Nice little crosswind landing. Let's see here. Yeah, that's weird. It says A10C Thunderbolt BE36. Those two things do not compute. Those two things do not compute. So let us see here. Let us see here. Alright, challenge is on. Okay, there's the extended center line. Challenge is on. Let's see if we can get a decent landing here. Yeah, I know. Do you know? Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys something interesting. I was listening. There was a plane crash out in Colorado a couple, maybe month and a half ago, 2 months ago. This guy flew a. What is it? It's like a really I think it's a turboprop single. Flew it directly into a mountain at night in Colorado. And but what he did was he did the vertical. He had I think he had a G1000, which makes this even more confusing to me. But he did the visual approach. You know, it'll give you visual guidance. And he had his autopilot coupled, and his autopilot flew the airplane straight into the side of a mountain, which is exactly what he asked it to do. But the one of the analyses that I listened to of the accident, they were talking about there are, I think, 11 airports in the. It's a Garmin thing. It's not an actual. Props to 2100. It's not an actual FAA visual approach. It's a Garmin system type thing. They have visual approaches that they program into their databases. But there are 11 approaches in the United States where the Garmin visual approach guidance does not give you the FAA required clearance from obstacles. And of those 11, there are 3 of them which will fly you straight into terrain if you follow them. and one of them is about, I don't know, about 30, 40 miles from my house, which is pretty interesting. But what I don't understand about that particular accident is how he had a G1000. I mean, they have synthetic vision. How did you not see there was a mountain in front of you? I mean, people do strange things, but that one I don't quite understand. Hey, Paolo, what's going on? Yeah, exactly. But that was an interesting one. All right, so 4 miles out. I'm high for 4 miles out. So, but what I want to do is get me. Why am I on a 4 mile? Why am I on a 5 mile final in the Cherokee? That doesn't make any sense. What I want to do is get into flap range and make this very, very boring. Yes, this was a nighttime. It was in Colorado. He was in a something 1000, Epic 1000, I think it's called. And it's got a PT6 turbine and it's got a G1000 system in it. So I just don't understand how he didn't. I just don't understand how you. I mean, I just don't get it. But yeah, he. Steamboat Springs, Colorado, I think it was. Alright, let's get some trim in here. So we're not doing too bad right now. A little bit high. More than a little bit high. Power's good. Alright, fuel pumps on. Mixture's rich, carpete's cold. Sim is stuttering. Another left to right crosswind. I guess when I'm on a good approach, I'm not used to it. So it feels weird. 80 knots. Yeah, we're definitely high. Let's go full flaps. I guess this airplane just likes full flaps. I guess that's just the way it likes to land. So we will oblige. Alright, little bit of power here. Alright, 75 knots is perfect. Mile and a half, we should be lower than this. The other thing I don't like about this is that the visual approach thing blocks your ground speed. So I would really like to know what my ground speed is right now, and then I know what the headwind component is.
$500.
Alright. We're actually looking pretty darn good here. We're going mixtures and props. Full forward, fuel pumps on. Flaps are set. Carpet is cold. Seatbelts are secure. And we are floating, ladies and gentlemen. We are floating. So this is what happens when I try to like land properly and actually slow down. Feels weird. Alright. Alright. I mean, who likes boring landings? Come on. Airspeed's good. Alright, power's coming out. Power's all the way out. See, this just flies really nicely. Look at that. If I had landed on centerline, it would have been even better. But we can't have everything, can we? We can't have everything. And I wasn't last in line. That's awesome, too. Alright. Mixture's lean. Flaps are up. Fuel pump is off. All right, not too bad. There's 2 in a row. So I guess the message is that full flaps are the way to go. Very nicely done. Everybody else is landing. Everybody else is greasing them on. So this is another one of these great little freeware airports. That is one of those cool things about Microsoft Flight Simulator, is that people go out and do these cool little airports. And you they call your reg, Sheb, that's awesome. But this is another cool little, this is another 2020 airport. All these airports are 2020. But less greasing, more centerline, exactly. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. There is no arguing with that statement. Less greasing, more centerline. So my instructor used to tell me, get on centerline, get on centerline. So my home airport and the place where I learned to fly has a 12,000 foot runway. It was originally a Cold War B-52 bomber base, and so it's a 200 foot wide runway, 12,000 feet long. It's longer than the longest runway at JFK. So it kind of gives you a really good excuse for being sloppy, you know. And then when you get to smaller airports, normal GA airports anyway, very easy to get to kind of have a difficult time because you're used to such a big runway. But let's see, where are we going now? We are going to, that was a decent approach. We're going to Cockburn Town. This is Jags McCartney International Airport, Mike Bravo Golf Tango. And this one is a cool one. That's another 22 miles. We'll go 1,500 feet on this one. I'm going to state it before we leave so that I don't have any excuse for being lazy. Alright. Fuel pumps on. Mixture is rich. Flaps are down. Carb heat's cold. Here comes somebody. Alright. Runway is not clear. So the gauntlet has been thrown down. Let's get some centerline landings here. Alright, heading indicator checks with the runway number. Takeoff power is coming in. I can't even stay on centerline on takeoff. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed's alive. 65 knots. And no crosswind correction. Alright. Get the nose down a little bit. Time is it? It's 4 o'clock. My wife's cooking dinner. It smells really good. Alright. Get that nose down just a little bit. Manifold pressure back to 25 inches. Prop at 2,500. Nose down just a little bit. Now, let's see here. So, I haven't been enjoying the scenery at all because I've been worrying about my crappy flying. Let's see here. 1, 2. Got 1, 1, 2. Right there. Alright. Yeah, I've been too worried about my crappy flying. There's 1,000 feet. Turn the fuel pump off. Fuel pressure is good. Yeah, this is one where you can't see the island until you're like on top of it. Alright, there's 50 feet below our cruise altitude. Pull the power back. Props back. And put that nose down. This is one of those days where you got to think about flying. Some days you don't have to think about it. Some days it just kind of comes. Today's not one of those days. Let's see. How come you don't see me, Paolo? I don't know. Let me see here. First of all, let me get myself level. Alright. 2324. Let me see here. What we got? I don't know. Your company has just told my base that we have to switch from the A320 to 737 MAX. You don't like the 737, huh? Interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think in real world, I would. I don't know. I think I would probably like this. I've heard this. The Airbus cockpit is a lot more comfortable. I've heard it's a lot more comfortable. I'm a Boeing guy. You know, I mean, let's be real. I'm a fake pilot when it comes to jets. I'm just faking it when it comes to jets. But it's just logically it all just makes sense, you know. Whereas with Airbus, it's got its different modes and like all this stuff that I just doesn't make any sense to me. What we got runway wise here? Runway 11, so we're basically straight in right now. But I've taught most of the people that I've talked to who have flown both actually prefer the Airbus, which I don't know. There's some Airbuses that I like, but I don't know. 60s technology you prefer? Yeah, I mean, there's no question the Airbus is, you know, technologically more advanced. But I mean, to me, the Boeing's more of a, it's more of a pilot's airplane, you know. But I suppose every transport category jet nowadays is mostly just managing. But yeah, I don't know. If I had my choice, I would. If I had my choice, I would want to be on the Boeing. But that's me. Having never flown a jet in real life, I don't know how much value that opinion is, but if you asked me right now, I would say Boeing. Paolo, do you see us yet? I was almost tempted to fly the 172 today. I think of all of the Coronado single engines, I think the classic C-172, the 1956 C-172 is my favorite. I love that little airplane. Paolo, do you see anybody else? You just don't see me, or you don't see anybody? We are on the East USA server. Where's my... There we go. We're on the East USA server. The most important thing is convenience. After 4 sectors in the Airbus, you're a bit tired. After 4... Yeah, that I don't doubt. That I don't doubt. I was watching a 177 Cardinal would be sweet. 177 Cardinal. You know what I really wish somebody would do is a Cherokee 180. A2A did a Cherokee 180 for prepared, and I actually used to fly that a lot when I was doing my instrument rating. And I just wish somebody would do a Cherokee 180. It's like it's I don't know if it's the most common Cherokee, but it's the most useful in the real world. I mean, it's just it's almost the perfect airplane. I have one. It's a freaking great airplane. So this is what I was talking about before. Guidance is advisory and may not provide adequate clearance from terrain or obstacles. Don't, you know, I don't know. And again, a stiff left crosswind. I'm getting further and further away from the extended sun. Hey, FS Clips, have a great night, man. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, very early flight tomorrow. Have a safe flight, my friend. Thanks for stopping in, and good to see you as always. And I will get back to you this week, I promise. Man, this is a crosswind. And you know what else I am not doing? What other foolish thing have I done? So I got myself I printed out a checklist to use, and of course I haven't used it. Because why would you? Printing it out is sufficient, is it not? Alright, what are we at? 6 miles? Alright, 5 miles and 1,500 feet is perfect. Start slowing down. 2,100 RPM. I'm gonna go 1,700 on the manifold pressure. This is going to be, hopefully, the most boring segment of flight sim you will ever see, because what I'm aiming for is a very, very nice approach and landing on center line. There's 5 miles. We're 100 feet high, but that's alright. I mean, it's not alright, but let's see. Alright. So, these are my least favorite approaches. Long, straight in finals. I hate them. I hate them. Why? Because they require skill. Anything that requires skill is not my friend. Alright, fuel pumps on. Mixture's rich, carb heat's cold. Did I not activate the visual approach? I thought I did. Oh, it's not going to give me guidance until we get to what? Alright, so we're looking at I'll bring some more power out here. Mystic Songwriter, absolute favorite plane to use in 2024. If I had to, it depends if you mean jets or GA. Jets, PMDG 73. Jets, the PMDG 777. GA, I would say, if I had to pick one, that's a tough one. I'll bring more power out because we're high and we're fast. That's a good question. What's funny is that there's a plane that I used to fly all the time that I really liked, and I don't fly it anymore, which is the TBM 930. I think it's a fantastic plane. I really like the Coronado F-33A Bonanza. I really like that airplane. I just got that. It's $15, and it's just a really, really fun airplane to fly. There's the White Arc. That's another favorite right there that just passed under the wing. Is the I mean, see, it would normally be a pretty easy answer. It would be the Islander, the black square, not black square. Mixture and prop full forward. Few pumps on, flaps are set, seatbelts are secure. Pre-landing checklist is complete. Usually
500.
Usually it would be an easy answer. It would be the Britain Norman Islander, but I just don't like the 2024 version of that plane. I love the 2020 version of that plane. This plane right here, the D-18S, is awesome. That is a great airplane. Alright. I guess that's what I would say, is that we're really lucky that we're spoiled for choice right now. Like, we've got some really good, even some of the stock airplanes. I mean, this airplane that I'm flying right now is free. and it's tremendous. Airspeed's good. Look at this. We're on center line. What do you think of that? Get a little bit upwind of the crosswind, and then we will wind up on center line once we touch down. Power's all the way out. I mean, this airplane is fantastic. I can't make center line. Yeah, I mean, we're just spoiled for choice. There's some great airplanes. The one airplane I wish that I... where is that? Oh yeah, I gotta show you guys this. This is the coolest thing in the world. This is a little Freeware airport, and the job they did in this airport is absolutely phenomenal. I really like classic airplanes. I like old airplanes, and the Beech D18. I'm gonna type it into the chat because you won't otherwise understand what I'm talking about. Denark mod. Where am I going? I'm typing and looking at the same. I'm typing and not in the in a different window. The Denark mod for the Beech D18, I think, is about the coolest freaking thing in the world. It's an absolutely gorgeous model, the D18, and that version of it is it's just such a beautiful update that they did. It's a freeware update. It's on flightsim.to. It's phenomenal. Check this out. Somebody did this for free. Somebody just took their time to come out here and do this airport. How cool is that? I mean, I just think this is awesome. Alright, so where are we gonna go now? I mean, oh, the TriStar, yeah. You know what other airplane that I like a lot, I really like a lot, is the ATR. And I just remembered, the ATR, they are releasing a 2024 version of it. And then I don't know exactly when, but soon. Oh, with Sim Update 5. With Sim Update 5. Where are we going next? We are going to Salt Key, Mike Bravo Sierra Yankee. Let's see, that's just down the street here, 7.2 miles. We'll go 1,000 feet for this one. What is the runway there? The runway there, I want to dial that in before we leave, is runway 8. Okay. Let's see, runway 8. So we'll just come over here. Runway 8. There's just so many cool planes. There really is. My problem is that's the plane I'm talking about right there, by the way, the Beech D18. That thing. I honestly think if I had to pick one piston airplane, that would be it. But what I was about to say is that, yeah, the TBM 850. Another one that I've heard is really, really good is the FSR. The FSR 500, FS Reborn 500, the Piper turboprop. I've heard that one's really, really good. But we're just spoiled, you know. We're just spoiled. We've got so many great airplanes. I'm gonna back taxi a little bit here. So many great airplanes. You know, it's interesting too because you mentioned the TriStar, and I'm in the classic airplanes, but not classic jets. But I was just thinking to myself this past week, it's sort of boring to watch this thing all the time in flight sim, and I want to get back to flying like VOR stuff. Of course, and then I realized you can't fly VORs because they're freaking tearing them down left and right. At least in the US they are, which is ridiculous. But I want to get back to like VOR navigation, like, and not staring at a screen. All right, fuel pumps on, flaps are set, mixture and prop full forward, carb heat's cold, takeoff power coming in. Like, get back to flying. instead of like I love engine instruments are in the green, airspeed's alive. I love the PMDG 737. I like the Phoenix. I like the buses. But all you're doing is watching the airplane navigate, you know, and how it's not that interesting. And it kind of made me think about why people like things like the MD-80 so much, the Mad Dog, because that's actual navigation, you know, which I think is pretty sweet. So, I don't know. But my other problem is, and I started to explain this and stopped, is that I can't just sort of understand the plane. I have to know how to fly it. And 900 climbing 1,000. And so that kind of makes it difficult for me, because if I want to add another plane to my flight sim stable, so to speak, unless it's like a pretty simple piston single, because those are easy to fly. I mean, I know how to fly them in real life, so flying them in the sim is no big deal. But like if I want to add like, you know, like if I wanted to fly like the PC-12, for example, or you know, something like that, I actually have to learn it. I really need to understand it in order to get any enjoyment out of it. So that's the other kind of tricky thing for me. Hey Peter, what's going on? How are you doing? A long time no hear, my friend. What's going on? Yeah, the NDBs. But you know what's cool about flying in the Caribbean is the Caribbean still has a bunch of NDBs. Still has a bunch of NDBs. And a bunch of VORs for that matter. But, I mean, the other thing, of course, is that in the Caribbean, navigation is pretty easy because, like, you know, it's not real hard to figure out where the next airport is. It's on that island somewhere. You know what I mean? So, it's interesting. I don't know. I don't know if you guys, I talk about it now and again. There's the Red Wing simulations. They're doing, they've done an entire 1935 world. They've done like a ton of different airports in Europe and especially North Africa, some South America, a ton of US airports from the 1930s. And like, to me, that's one of the coolest ideas, that you can literally recreate eras in the sim, you know. And that's a really, really cool project in my opinion. But I was thinking, like, so if we want to, I'm doing great, Peter. I'm just starting to get my wind right now. I was a little tired earlier. But like, I was saying, I would love to get back to like just flying like ground-based navigation, just VORs. Like, that would be some really fun stuff to do. And I don't know how up to date the sim is with not having, or like whether it has the VORs that are in real life. In other words, because in the United States they're basically removing all of the VORs. What the FAA has said in the United States is that going forward, you will have you will be able to access one ground-based approach within 100 nautical miles of your position, no matter where you are in the United States. And what that means is, it sounds reasonable, but the problem is that they're just taking away. They're taking a ton of the VORs out of service. And I don't know how true to life the sim is to that. I would imagine the sim's pretty realistic about it because the sim updates the nav database on a regular basis. So my guess is the sim is probably getting lower and lower on VORs too, which stinks. I would love to be able to take a basic airplane and just go out and like fly IFR, you know, and just fly ground-based navigation, fly VOR approaches, that sort of thing would be great. All right, flaps are set, mixture's rich, carb heat's cold, fuel pump is on, seat belts are secure. 85 knots, not bad. Pretty much on glide slope, I would think.
500.
Mile and a half, 500 feet, not too bad. Peter, you went to FS weekend. That's awesome. I've been watching some of the coverage. I got another chance to try to make a on centerline landing. So far we are 0 for what, 4? Made some decent crosswind landings, but I have not made a good centerline landing yet. Start bringing some power out so we can get slowed down a little bit here. Where did you go, crosswind? S turns down final here. Gonna do one more short hop after this one. Alright, power coming out. Slowing it down, slowing it down. Alright, power's all the way out. Come on, centerline, where are you? No! Come on, does that count? I don't know. I got back there pretty quickly. Oh, man. Flying is fun, is it not? Tip Rat's on centerline. Beast Pack's on centerline. Everybody's on centerline except for me. Lando Warrior, aka Dakota's little brother. Mike Coffee, what's going on? I'm gonna move. I think I'm gonna move away from flying the Warrior a little bit. I was flying it a lot, and I think I want to fly some other airplanes. And now that I'm getting used to the fact that this one requires some effort to slow down, and you actually need full flaps on landing, which makes sense. Now that I'm getting used to that, this plane handles so nicely. That right there is a thing of beauty. That is a thing of beauty right there. Feel my hate with the. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for that donation. That's really kind of you. I don't feel your hate. I feel the love. I feel the love. I also feel the fact that I didn't put my prop full forward on landing. Yeah, Warriors are easier to fly in real life. Oh man, you had time today. I'm sorry about that, Mike. That I want to drag you kicking and screaming into Flight Sim 24. All right, we got one more leg here today. What do we got? We have got Harold Charles International Airport, MBAC. I don't know if this one's going to be in the database either, because this is Mike Bravo Alpha Charlie. There we are. Ambergris Key International Airport. All right, so what is it? 277. So let's set this. No, let's set this instead. That's about right. And what runway do we have here at our next airport? Next airport of intended destination is runway 07. So we'll set this for 07. And I'll get back to the chat in 1 second here, fellas. 07. Alright. It's pretty close. Alright, let's go. Fuel pump is already on. What do we say? This is probably going to be a short field takeoff. So, fuel pump is on. Mixtures and props. Foot forward. Spin it around here. The Citation X with no nose wheel. And alright. Toes in the brakes. Heading indicator checks with the runway number. Takeoff power is coming in. Takeoff power is set. Engine instruments are in the green. Release the brakes. Let's see here. Yeah, I like the Warrior. I just need something with a little more get up and go. Give me a left downwind departure here. A little bit more get up and go. And this airplane is pretty sweet. I love this. I mean, this is one of the airplanes that if I could, I would own. I love the Piper Dakota. Absolutely love this airplane. Cool. Look at this. Look at this. Heading 277. Manifold pressure 25 inches. Props back. Well, I keep trying to bring my props back without realizing that I don't have to. Alright, let's come across that heading a little bit so we can intercept the course here. Let's see. Which one's not easy to fly? No more typing in the GPS exactly. You know, I don't know. I go through moods though. I go through moods where I don't feel like flying jets anymore. I go through moods where all I want to do is fly GA. And I don't know. I think but the other thing is I really don't like G1000 airplanes in the sim. I just don't. They're boring to me because it's just hey Kenneth, I didn't see you earlier. I apologize. I hope you're still here. Good to see you, Kenneth. And I need to. All right, fuel pump is still on. All right, I should have done this a while ago. Fuel pump is off. Fuel pressure is good. Now I have. Fuel imbalance isn't too bad. What was I saying? Yeah, I don't like G1000 airplanes. So like the Cows, the DA-40 is an airplane I would love to have in real life. It would be an unbelievable airplane to have in real life. But in the sim, I just don't find it interesting to fly. Same with the G1000 Baron. Same with the G1000 Bonanza. Phenomenal airplanes to have in real life, but in the sim, I just don't find them very interesting. But the Coronado F-33 Bonanza is tremendous. I like that plane. You know, just something with like a little bit of performance so you can actually travel with it. But you don't spend a year and a half on the ground programming prior to departure, and where it's an aeroplane where you can just enjoy it, you know. I've been flying the yeah, the Warrior rocks along at right about 105 knots, and that just doesn't get it done on on trips like today. You know, whereas like if I had flown the Bonanza today, the Coronado Bonanza, I think that would have been too fast. So this is like kind of perfect. And in addition to being perfect, it is a Piper Dakota, which is freaking cool. Love the DA40 and 42. Absolutely, yeah. And they're both phenomenal airplanes. If anybody asks me, like, what do you think of the Cows DA40 or DA42? Phenomenal airplanes. I just don't personally like G1000s. You know, I like the steam gauge 172. I love the steam gauge 172. Of course, the advantage also of the steam gauge of the G1000 airplanes in the sim is that you can really do kind of precision, like particularly like landing practice. Like if you want to do touch and goes, they're perfect because you got a nice big primary flight display with a nice big heading, you know, nice big the integrated heading indicator, artificial horizon. It's beautiful. Like this thing is sort of, I mean, you know, you can't, it's a little bit challenging to fly by attitude in this plane because the attitude indicator is so small. I mean, you can, you know, in the G1000, you can set your attitude pretty precisely. With this plane, you kind of set it rather approximately, you know, if that makes any sense. Peter, there's I saw a couple videos of that. There were a couple DA40s that, I don't know if you watch Flight Streamer, but he was there. You may have seen him there for that matter. But he's a really cool dude. He flies DA40s in real life, and he hitched a ride in a DA40 to Lastead, and they did apparently circuits of the tower, which I think was pretty wild. But he flies DA40s. Yeah, Mike, in real life, the DA40 or 42, it would absolutely be like flying an iPad. And like, I want boring flying in real life. I want boring flying. You didn't see him? He's a cool dude. You should look him up online. Flight Streamer. He's a cool guy. But yeah, in real life, I love boring flying. You know what would be a really cool plane to have is the DA62. That thing is a beast. That is a big airplane. 6 seats. Twin. I don't. Do the Diamonds don't have parachutes, do they? No. See, Mike, in real life, I want boring flying. In the sim, I don't want boring flying. Because in the sim, nothing can really go wrong, you know. In real life, I like it nice and boring. Alright, so we gotta fly past the field here, and we'll make a little left downwind. Yeah, the Caravan is another airplane that I wish I had time to learn how to fly, because that is a sweet plane as well. You know, and that's why I was saying earlier, like in some cases I wish I was a 1 airplane guy, or even like a 2 airplane guy. It's like the bombing around the Caribbean in the Caravan would be fantastic. That'd be a lot of fun. Cirrus SR-22. According to your YouTube channel, analog gauges outlast the glass panels. The big thing in the Cirrus is that every 10 years you have to repack the parachute, and that costs like, I forget how much. I know maybe like 5 years ago it was like maybe $12,000 to repack the parachute, but now I've heard it's a lot more than that. Yeah, you know, Peter, did you get a chance to see the Meridian GMT stuff? Because that's the stuff I'm really excited about. He's Nicky Reppening is the guy who originally did the honeycomb stuff, and then they got into that whole problem situation with the with his business partners or whatever. But the Meridian GMT stuff looks so good. That's what I want. Alright, we're gonna make a respectable. Yeah, you could buy. Actually, you know what's crazy? 152. You know what a pretty stock 150 goes for nowadays? 50 grand. Yep. The price of airplanes is insane. They have we have dual G5s and a GTN 650 in our 150 with a pretty new engine in it, and that thing we could get 80,000 for that thing. It's insane. I mean, I guess the price of everything is not getting lower. So we're gonna go fly midfield. Well, not quite midfield, but fly over the airport. This is another really cool Freeware airport. Alright, do I have a notch of flaps in? Fuel pump is on. Mixture's rich. And I need to start. Well, you know what? Actually, I don't. Let's get that second notch of flaps in while we're in flap range. The 152 is more. Is it like an inch wider, the 152? I've never been in a 152, but the 150 is cozy. That is a cozy airplane. Alright. I like the 150. It's a great little airplane. But some people say the 150 is a really difficult airplane to land in a crosswind. It is a very enjoyable airplane to land, in my opinion. Let's see here. I like high wings more. I think I'm probably more consistent landing. Or I like low wings more. But I'm probably, yeah, the price of aviation is what I told. You know what's funny? You can tell. one of the ways you can tell a real pilot when they're simming is they'll talk about things like fuel. And like leaving the engine running on the ground and that sort of thing. Because it's a reality of aviation that it's just an expensive thing to do. And if you can save yourself one tenth of Hobbs time, I mean, it's still worth doing. All right, fuel pumps on, mixture's rich, carb heat's cold. We'll go prop full forward, flaps are set, seatbelts are secure. Airspeed is pretty good. There's no way I'm 1.7 miles from the threshold. Of course, that's the other thing about landing over water, is it can be deceiving. So I'm gonna let it come down here.
500.
Alright. Stable. As stable as one of my landings can be, anyway. Alright. We're gonna flare it right at the 1,000-foot markers. We're gonna put it on center line. Be on airspeed. We're gonna do it all correct this time. Feels like maybe a little bit of a right crosswind now. Alright, airspeed's perfect. Feels like I'm dragging it in, but it... Alright, come on, baby. Come on, baby. Windsock is looking left to right, but the nose isn't telling me much. The nose knows. Alright, power coming out a little bit. Slowing down, slowing down, slowing down. Power's all the way out. Look at that. This airplane is awesome. It really is. Boy. I mean, it's not unrealistic. I mean, if you're gonna float and bleed off that speed, you know, not unrealistic. I love, now that I just had to get my feel for this plane back. Playing a simple setup, 55-inch OLED honeycomb echo. You know that, but it's what I did with my Embrace the Cross. What I did with my setup is I just added piece by piece, you know, and or you know, you can be perfectly happy with what you've got. Whatever works for you, you know. But I mean, you see people with, you know, just these crazy setups. You know, I mean, my monitor is honestly 10 years old. It's a 30. I mean, yeah, it's probably 9 years old. It is 32-inch 2K, 60 hertz, and I love it. I mean, you know, you look at monitor, well, like, why would I spend $300 or $400 on a new monitor when I'm perfectly happy with the one I have, you know? But that's the cool thing about flight sim is there's so many different ways to do it, you know? I mean, one of the things that I love about the honeycomb stuff is that it's so versatile. You know, it's like the you know, the Boeing yoke is better for, you know, Boeing aircraft, obviously. You know, and it would be good to have a side stick for the Airbus. But at the same time, like the Honeycomb Alpha, I can fly the Cessna 150 or the 777, you know, and that's what gets it done for me, you know. Yeah, and that's the thing is and it's, you may find out that what you really enjoy doing is different than what you thought you were really going to enjoy doing. You might find an airplane that you weren't expecting to love, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, this is a great airplane. And so it might change your setup decision, you know? So all good, man. But yeah, the price of aviation is eye-watering. There's no question about it. You know, and it's not gonna get any cheaper. I'm gonna show you guys this airport down here, and then I'm gonna go have dinner because my lovely wife is probably waiting for me right now. So fuel pump is off. Bring the flaps up. This was a fun little roundabout here of airports. We haven't done the Turks in ages, and this was a hoot. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoyed this a lot. So I think what the issue with the power, I just don't think the gauges are scaled correctly. The power gauges in this plane, because you basically have to be under 1,000 RPM or under 10 inches of manifold pressure to really get the airplane to slow down. And that doesn't strike me as correct, you know. But I just love this airplane. once I finally figured out that it needs full flaps and 0 RPM to land, or 0 manifold pressure. So in real life, I do not have a complex endorsement, so I always refer to RPM instead of manifold pressure, because none of the planes I fly in real life have a blue knob. You know, but check this out. How cool is this? Just blows my mind that somebody would take their time to come out here and do this. And that's one of the cool things about flight simulation, is the passion that people have for it. It's amazing. Let me go park the correct way here. Taxiing like a weirdo here. I mean, look at this. Hey, look at this. Alright, let's try not to decapitate this gentleman. Whoops. Alright. Mixture to idle. Cutoff throttle is idle. Fuel pump is off. Lights are coming off. We'll go transponder to standby. Let's see. Alright, avionics master coming off. We'll set the parking brake. Flaps are up. Master and battery switches coming off. And here we are. I mean, look at how cool. Look at this. Actually, I'm going to get back in the plane just so I can get out and do a little bit of a tour. I mean, look at this. I think this is pretty amazing. I think this is pretty amazing. Look at this. This is awesome. I'm going to get out and say hi to everybody. Alright. Mitch, thank you so much. I had a great time too. Mike Coffee, I apologize that man, you got to get 24. Mike Coffee, you are one of the only reasons why I have not deleted Flight Sim 2020 yet. Because I still have a guilty conscience because you can't join us on our 2024 flights. And I don't want to shut you out, but I haven't flown Flight Sim 2020 in a long time. You know, $4 to $5 grand for a PC. Yeah, I mean that's the reality, right? I mean, I don't know. I think hardware wise, I think Flight Sim 24 is easier on your system, but that's obviously not for me to say, you know. Bob, you look different this week. Yeah, it's true too. I mean, prices in different places are different as well. But hey Sheb, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much again for coming out. And I love this. The Turks. This was a hoot. This is a great flight. I really enjoyed this one. Hope you guys did too. Look, I got to so I gotta head out here, fellas, because my lovely wife is waiting for me to eat dinner. But thank you again for everybody for coming out. This is a great flight. This was a lot of fun. Well attended. Keiju, thank you for coming, and thank you for flying. You win the airplane of the day award, the coolest airplane that somebody flew. This is awesome stuff. You know, that 9070 XT is a nice card. Embrace the Cross, that's a nice card. And I actually looked at that at one point, but yeah, I mean, PC prices are pretty dependent on where you are, you know. But yeah, this is a lovely part of the world, Bedbug. I totally agree. This is a lot of fun. So, alright guys, everybody enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the start of your week, and thanks again for coming out, everybody. I really appreciate it. The FSR4 is coming out pretty soon. That's my understanding. But Sierra Delta, thank you so much. Oh man, enjoy the time with your dogs. What I wouldn't give for one more walk with mine. But Mr. Anderson, you take care. And Bob, Priest Pack, everybody, Chev, I really appreciate it, guys. Really appreciate everybody coming out. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a great start to your week. And we will talk soon, gentlemen. Take care, everybody. Peter, take care as well. It's good to see you. Yeah, I will say hello to Mrs. ISP. Peter, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Have a safe trip back home. Well, it's probably not much of a long trip back home for you, but have a safe trip, my friend. Take care, everybody.